Hello, good morning. It is Morning Coffee with Steve, episode 225. I'm Steve Saylor. I'm Steve Saylor. I can't even get my own name right today. This is your daily show of gaming news, accessibility news, or updates about my life. I have McDonald's iced coffee again today. Caramel iced coffee. So good. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing like you had a good week. And if you didn't, I hope that this weekend will be a nice, relaxing weekend for you. And if not, I hope that there's some, you have some time off or some time to be able to just de-stress in your future because you deserve it. The news is kind of light today. However, I got something in the mail yesterday that I forgot I bought, and I figured, you know what? Hey, I could just do a bit of an unboxing today. I have here the 30th anniversary PlayStation Dualsense Controller here in this box, and I'm gonna unbox it. So if you're listening to this on the podcast version on Patreon, which you should go and support, patreon.com/Steve Saylor, would really appreciate it. Become a paid member. You can be able to get this as a podcast on any podcast platform you want, including you can actually get this connected to your Spotify, and because you got a connection with Patreon and actually can be able to go directly in there, it's a whole thing. Give it a try. I figured I would definitely do the unboxes on video, so if you're gonna listen to this, I would definitely recommend going watching the video for this, because we're gonna unbox some stuff and look at it. I've got my knife here, don't worry. I know it looks like I don't know what I'm doing, or that I'm cutting things so close to my face, but I am okay. I am a trained professional. I think I cut it properly. I'm trying to save the box as much as possible, but because the box, if you've seen the box, it looks pretty cool. Basically, it looks like the original PlayStation, like PS1 box. Well, that's actually kind of cool. They actually have like a little pattern thing on it, like on the inside, with all the different drawings of all the different PlayStation. Actually, wait, do they have the access controller there? Did I see that? Wait, where is it? Where is it? No, or is that the just the? There it is. Yeah, right there. Right, it's right there. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's neat. Oh, okay. Oh, and this handle thing kind of comes off. Wow, it's covers all the inside of the box. That's pretty cool. All right, let's pull out the controller, shall we? And this, oh, look at that! It's in a cool 30th anniversary box. It's got a neat pattern of Wait, is that a 3? Wait, it's supposed to be all the X. Cross, triangle, circle. Oh, I get it. Three square is supposed to be the 30th. Okay, that's cool. This is a pattern of the Xbox, the PlayStation face buttons, and then a 3 for 30th anniversary. All right, so let's just trying to figure. Okay, here we go. A little bit of this way. Okay, so it's in plastic. There's the controller. Let us there's basically some we'll open that other controller up in a sec, but there's instructions, and looks like that is it. There's nothing else. But I am going to keep this box though, because again, it's a 30th anniversary box, so I want to definitely keep it. All right, so I'm going to put that back in its box. You're getting the very rare, just kind of unedited version of this unboxing. Here we go. Oh, yeah, it goes this way. I'm trying to be clean, and not just sort of throw the box or destroy the box in any way. There we go. Okay, box is secured. Put that up in probably maybe the shelf bin behind me or something. I'll figure something out. But let's take a look at the controller. Take it out of its plastic. Ooh, you look at that. Oops, it accidentally turned it on. Wow, that gray looks so good in person. that two-tone gray. Oh, I love that. And the PS logo as the original colors. It looks so, and the thing that I love the most is if you look at the face buttons, they actually have the color of the buttons on there. That's such a big deal. Because when you look at the DualSense, which I do like the DualSense. The thing is that I've never been a fan, or not necessarily a fan of, is that they kind of they gray tone the face buttons, whereas this they have the color with the black. Is it semi-transparent? It kind of is. Kind of semi-transparent colors, or black, a sort of black casing of the buttons. Let's take a look at the triggers and shoulder buttons there. Looks pretty cool. Oh, come on, focus. There we go. It's pretty dope. And let's look at the back. Wait, what does it say on the back? Oh, it just says PlayStation 30th anniversary on the back. In white. That's pretty cool. There we go. Love that. That is pretty dang cool. And again, it feels really great in the hands. The DualSense controllers always felt real. I did like the feel of the controllers when they first came out with the PS5. When I first got it, it was like definitely felt weighty enough, but also it just felt good in the hands. I do admit that basically that it's kind of hard to tell, but I'm trying to be able to see like if there's any special pattern in the grip. I'm trying to build to focus and it's not focusing. No, it's not focusing. Okay, it's hard to like. If you look closely, if you do like a macro lens, you can actually be able to see the pattern of the face buttons, the cross, circle, square, and triangle, which is pretty cool. But I was wondering if they had the 3 in there for 30th anniversary. But yeah, no, this always felt good. It's always felt good to be able to doing the clicky buttons. Super soft clicky. Yeah. The only thing is that at the time for accessibility, I felt that the controllers were a little bit too heavy. For I felt that it was a little heavier than what the DualShock 4 was. Which I felt like was could be difficult for those with motor disabilities or just having trouble trying to hold the controller in their hands because of just how hefty it is. Now, granted, I think it's because of the haptics feedback that's built into the controller. There's a lot of tech that's in the controller, so that's why it's a little bit heavier. But I think over time I've kind of gotten used to the weight. But that is something I do warn folks about with the DualSense, is that it actually, it's as good as controller as it is still a bit heavy in the hands, heavier than previous controllers, but it kind of has the same kind of weight as like an Elite 2 for an Xbox. Anyway, that's cool. That's that is the DualSense, the 30th anniversary DualSense. I'm gonna put that to the side. I'm gonna start charging it. I have like a little charging station right beside me because that's next to my PlayStation. Okay, it's currently charged. I'm gonna retire this white DualSense controller. I don't know where to put it. Put it off to the side. For now. I'll find a better place for it somewhere. And that is the unboxing. Cool. All right. This is just plastic. I can throw this out. Yeah. And there it is. All right, let us jump into the news, shall we? We've got some sales numbers for October, which is pretty awesome. This is coming from Rebecca Valentine over at IGN. October 2024 sales charts. Call of Duty Black Ops 6 sparks Xbox Game Pass subscription surge. Yes. October was a massive month for new releases, with 8 of the top 10 games sold in the US, fresh launches. But as usual, none could quite touch the success of Call of Duty, and Black Ops 6 gave the franchise another debut at #1, even with its inclusion in Xbox Game Pass. Remember, this was kind of like the worry was whether Black Ops 6 this year would have been would have dropped in its number one ranking that it has been for year over year because of Game Pass, and that was kind of taking away a big chunk of what those sales numbers would be. So it's good to see that it's still number one. It's exciting for me to be able to, like, now that I'm in it, that I am actually like that. I'm like, yes, the game I worked on is number one. Yeah. This information comes from Circana's monthly report on U.S. video game spending by dollar sales, which saw Call of Duty Black Ops 6 drive overall video game spending up 10% year over year to $4.7 billion per an analysis by Circana's Matt Pescatella. It was the best-selling game of the month and is already the third best-selling game of the year to date. In its first 2 weeks, Black Ops 6 sales were 23% higher than last year's Modern Warfare 3 sales over the same period. Remember, we talked about Europe, I think yesterday, Europe sales, that they were apparently a little bit, I think it was like around 22% higher than Modern Warfare 3. But I don't think it mentions here in regards to what it was like for Modern Warfare 2 the year prior. Interestingly, a whopping 82% of Call of Duty Black Ops 6 full dollar sales were on PlayStation 5. That makes sense, but that shouldn't come as a surprise. This number counts full game purchases, and with Black Ops 6 appearing on Game Pass, it's likely most Xbox users took that route instead. But Circana also reports that non-mobile video game subscription spending industry was up by 16% year over year in October, and this was largely due to Black Ops 6 driving new Game Pass subscriptions. Following Black Ops 6 in the sales charts was Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which is now the fourth best selling game of the year so far, the best selling Dragon Ball game in the US, and the third best selling Bandai Namco game in history. Only Elden Ring and Dark Souls 3 have done better than Bandai's portfolio. So I'm actually going to read the top. I'm going to skip ahead to the top 20. You can kind of see it on the video, but I'll kind of, so it's kind of spoilered a little bit, but I'm going to go from 20 down to 1 for the top selling 20, or top selling 20, the top 20 selling games for October. We've got Elden Ring at number 20, Final Fantasy 1 through 6 bundle, 19. 18, we got Life is Strange Double Exposure. Not necessarily a great launch for Life is Strange, but I think that came in later at the end of October. So I would probably expect that to go up in November for November sales. 17 is NBA 2K25. Number 16 is Minecraft, which apparently there's an asterisk that indicates that some or all digital sales are not included in Circana's data. Some publishers, including Nintendo and Take-Two, do not share digital data for this report. Okay, that's probably why there's an asterisk there, because Minecraft is also on Nintendo. 15 is Astrobot. 14 is NHL 25. Number 13 is Hogwarts Legacy, still holding strong in the top 20, huh? The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is number 12. EA Sports College Football is 25 is number 11. EA Sports FC 25. Oh, College Football FC. Okay, FC 25 is number 10. Now we're in the top 10. Sonic X Generations is number 9. Madden NFL 25 is number 8. Super Mario Party Jamboree is number 7. Again, details are not super or not specifically. The fact that these are all physical sales for Super Mario Party Jamboree, not digital sales. It could be much higher than that. Number 6 is Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Not necessarily a great launch for Dragon Age as far as top sales, but I think that's pretty decent for that game. Metaphor Fantasio, also pretty soft, I think, for sales. I would expect that to be a little bit higher. But I get it. It's a very, very deep JRPG, and unless you're a fan of those kind of games, that probably is that's a good spot for Metaphor. Undisputed is number 4. Silent Hill 3 is number 2. Or sorry, Silent Hill 2 is number 3. I switched that number up. And then Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is number 2. And Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is number 1. Let's see. A few other interesting titles popped up into the U.S. charts this month. The Final Fantasy 1-6 collection climbed from 90 last month to 19 this month, perhaps due to a recent sale on the Nintendo Switch that dropped the price from a whopping $75 to nearly $55. It's still going on right now. Meanwhile, Sifu soared from number 502 last month to number 9 on the Xbox top monthly active user charts, thanks to its recent addition to Xbox Game Pass. That's not necessarily like anything that's groundbreaking. Sifu had been sort of like it's still people love to play it, but it is definitely not like relevant or trending as it once was. But when this is just how big and powerful the sort of Game Pass is. The fact that it hit number 9 on the Xbox top monthly active user charts based when it joined Game Pass, that's pretty huge. I could definitely see that number potentially even going up for November as well. As for hardware sales, it was unsurprisingly less stellar month. Our hardware spending was down 23% year over year, with Switch's sales down 38%, PS5 down 20%, and Xbox Series down 18%. PS5 remains the top selling hardware in both unit and dollar sales, and Xbox followed second as the Switch nears the end of its life cycle. Over in accessories, the PlayStation Portal was the best-selling item, and accessory spending was up 15%. Black Friday sales are also now live, with Xbox leading with plenty of deals. That's interesting, actually, for hardware sales. I would have thought that with the folks that were like with the 30th anniversary stuff, as we just showed, that's now being shipped out. I would have thought that. Sorry, I'm kind of spinning. I would have thought that would have driven PS5 sales up a little bit, but it seems like it was still down year over year. So I'm wondering if it was just because it was still limited quantities for the 30th anniversary, but also the PS5 Pro. I'm finding interesting that is also not that it didn't drive sales, unless I'm thinking because it's because it's released in November. I'm also thinking, yeah, I keep thinking it's the beginning of November. Hold on, when did the PS5 Pro release? Oh, November 7th. Okay, it's not. Of course, it's not. I'm an idiot. Oh, God. Okay, forget everything I just said. Okay, PS5 Pro definitely does not cover October. So that's why those numbers are down, because it hadn't released yet. But, I mean, the price of, I do think that the 30th anniversary should have driven at least a little bit of sales up instead of down 20%. But either way, good sales numbers for October. We got definitely some surprises. Obviously, I'm actually still, I am surprised, but not necessarily. Black Ops 6 being number 1. I was a bit worried about that Game Pass cutting into that, but they're still number 1, which is great. I like seeing Metaphor in there. I like seeing Silent Hill 2 in there. And good for Dragon Ball, honestly. Like, the fact they were able to number 2, that's pretty awesome. And then Dragon Age, kind of sad that it's a little bit softer. I would have hoped that it would have been broken the top 5, or at least number 5. But I think when you got all these other games, it makes sense. It's a very busy time. So I'm not trying to make excuses. That's just how sales numbers works. And BioWare has had yet to be able to prove itself that it was back, essentially. All right. And then last story. The Rogue Prince of Persia's second act out now with big changes. This is coming from Blair Marnell over at GameSpot. 6 months after its release in early access, the Rogue Prince of Persia has gotten a massive upgrade with more bosses, biomes, and story content. When the Rogue Prince of Persia launched in May, Ubisoft and developer Evil Empire were very clear that the game was still early in development and subject to change, but a new update adds more than just minor adjustments. Evil Empire has dropped the Rogue Prince of Persia, the second act, which gives the game some massive upgrades. They've got a trailer here, so let us. I'm going to jump to a new tab, and we're going to watch that together. So this is what the game looked like before. Ooh, it's been upgraded. Game content will double. Okay. Ooh, yeah, that definitely adds a lot more contrast and detail to the art environment. Ooh, and he's got rid of his purple look. New biomes, new bosses, new story act, new artistic direction. Yeah, he definitely looks a lot more punky. if that's a word. So anyway, what was the date on that? November 21st. So it's out today, yeah, or as of yesterday. Yeah, he definitely looks a lot different than he did. He was very purpley, but it looks like they've kind of given him a new art pass. He's a little bit more. His skin tone is a lot more realistic, and yeah, he's looking more like the prince for sure. Am I attracted to a video game character? Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, let's see what else that they got going on. As laid out on the game's with Steam notes, the most obvious change is the revamped art direction on the prince himself, and there's also greater detail in the backgrounds. The colors are richer and more vibrant, and purple has been eliminated from the prince's character model. The original release covered the first act of the game, which has now been polished and revamped alongside the game's second act. Evil Empire is also teasing additional biomes, new enemies, more bosses, the option for multiple save slots, and more changes, which you can experience in the full release. Additionally, localization for German, Japanese, Korean, Polish, Portuguese, Russian, and Spanish will be available. This always happens for games, so like localization is just a big part of life. Which, by the way, here's an interesting fun fact about localization, about video game development. One part of the reason why that text size is so hard to be able to do, or building out a UI is so hard to do in video games, and why it seems kind of like sometimes UIs can look a little bit chunky or a little bit weird, and sometimes actually makes the text even smaller. Mostly it's because of German. German is the standard of which a lot of UI is designed around, because when you localize to a German language, there are words that are like 26 letters long, kind of deal like that. Like they have a lot of words that have a lot of characters in them, so a lot of UI has to be designed sort of around German language, and or at least they design it in a way that looks good in English. But then when they try to localize it in German, they realize, oh no, our UI is too big. We need to make it smaller, and that's how sometimes text size can be able to take a hit. Is generally because of localization to different languages. It's not any fault of anything. It's just some people, I don't know why. Like it's one of the many reasons why the text size is not necessarily a thing. But I'm trying to be able to change that in the industry. As laid out in the game's first act, the Rogue Prince of Persia takes place in the city of Sisyphon. I can't remember. Siphon. Let's call it that. And it casts players a new prince who foolishly provoked the Han army. In response, the Han chief Nogai has sent his possessed soldiers into Siphon to destroy it. Now the prince has to defend his city and use a mystical artifact to time travel and prevent himself from being permanently killed by his enemies. The Rogue Prince of Persia, the second act is live on Steam as of November 21st. Development of the final version of the game will continue until 2025. However, the team behind the critically acclaimed Prince of Persia Lost Crown was disbanded by Ubisoft and shifted to other projects within the company. Yeah, that's still sad. That still stings. Awesome. Love that. I did play a little bit of the Rogue Prince of Persia. It is, again, it's early access. So it was definitely did not have a lot of accessibility built in, but I did play it. I did enjoy it for what it was. I think with some improvements over time, I think it definitely could be potentially accessible. And with Ubisoft's commitment to accessibility, and also Evil Empire, and they weren't the developers technically of Dead Cells, but they did publish it and they did help with that. They understand, I think, that the benefit of accessibility, because Dead Cells did have a breaking barriers update, a huge accessibility update. If you have not tried Dead Cells, and because of its accessibility, definitely a year or two ago, when they released the breaking barriers DLC, it added a ton of accessibility. I would highly recommend Dead Cells now for those who have not played it and you are disabled. Definitely go give it a try for sure. But I did like the Rogue Prince of Persia. Had to put it down for a little bit because I couldn't be able to get through one run, unfortunately. But I'll love to be able to give it a try. I have it. I'm just going to keep downloading the update, and we'll see what happens. Okay, that is going to be it for today's episode. Kind of a quick, short one, 23 minutes. That's all right. I want to thank you for watching and or subscribing. If you did pick up any of the 30th anniversary stuff from PlayStation, let me know in the comments down below. What do you think so far? Did you pick up a PS5 or PS5 Pro or anything like that? I could not justify spending that much money for a PS5 Pro. It was like $1,000. Actually, no, it was like $1,300 Canadian for the 30th anniversary edition. It was just couldn't get my hands on it, or just didn't even want it. Like that price is too expensive. But besides the point, thank you so much. If you have any comments or questions about anything of this episode, please leave them in the comments down below or in the description or in the show notes. or description of the post. You know what I mean. Please give this video a like and subscribe. I will really appreciate it. And that is going to be it for this week. It is the weekend. I'm excited for just chilling and relaxing and playing some video games. I have some video games I've been playing that I definitely can't wait to be able to talk about. Not for review or NDA. It's just, I've been playing a few, so they'll expect some what Steve's playing segments for next week. Take care. Have yourself a great weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye-bye.